Welcome back to Red Moon Anime. Today we're breaking down DanDaDan Episode 6. Let's dive right in. The episode begins with Turbo Granny talking to Okarun and Momo about Okarun's missing balls, which are cloaked in Turbo Granny's spiritual energy. She describes them as golden and about 5 centimeters in diameter, assuring them they'll recognize them instantly when they see them. Momo worries they won't be able to find them, but Turbo Granny suggests that a yokai monster or spirit may have taken them, as they're filled with powerful life energy. However, Turbo Granny refuses to help, which frustrates Momo and Okarun. They then go to Momo's house to seek advice from Seiko. Seiko offers to ask around to see if anyone has information and reminds Okarun that he still possesses some of Turbo Granny's powers. She warns him, saying that although they seem stable for now, his powers are still dangerous, and advises him to stay put until they find a solution. Meanwhile, Turbo Granny secretly listens in on their conversation. The next morning, Okarun goes to school and is confronted by his classmates, who ask if he's dating Momo. He quickly replies that he's not, but this only encourages the boys to press him further, asking if he can introduce them to Momo. They eagerly tell him how cute they think she is, and mention that they've wanted to get to know her for a while. Okarun then drifts into deep thought, realizing he hasn't really considered Momo's cuteness before. He briefly recalls moments with her, then snaps back to reality, scolding himself for having impure thoughts about her. One of his classmates suddenly asks if he's slept with Momo, even mentioning a nasty rumor that she'll sleep with any guy. Shocked and angry, Okarun demands to know who started such a rumor. He begins to transform halfway into Turbo Granny, causing his classmate to panic and kneel, insisting he isn't the one spreading the rumor. Okarun warns him not to gossip like that, and his classmate nervously agrees, pleading to be let go. Okarun calms down, reverts to normal, apologizes to his classmate, and heads back to his seat, leaving his classmates bewildered. As he sits down, Turbo Granny suddenly appears, startling Okarun. He bolts out of the classroom, but Turbo Granny pops out of his backpack, trying to convince him to let her back into his body so she can regain her powers. Okarun refuses, insisting he wants his balls back first. Just then, someone calls his name, so he quickly stuffs Turbo Granny back into his bag. Momo arrives, and Okarun nervously tries to explain that Turbo Granny is in his backpack. But before he can finish, Turbo Granny tells him to keep quiet, making him drop his bag in surprise. Caught off guard by how cute Momo looks, he starts to get shy and awkwardly tries to walk away. Momo notices and asks why he's acting so shy, but Okarun insists it's not what she's thinking and runs off, with Momo chasing after him. In the commotion, they both forget about Okarun's backpack, allowing Turbo Granny to slip out, happily declaring she's going to enjoy campus life for the first time in a while as she wanders off. Back in Momo's classroom, she tells her friends that she's seriously upset that Okarun has been completely avoiding her, even though he's not her boyfriend. One of her classmates mentions that Okarun is a good guy, and says she heard from Class C that he got into a fight with some boys who were spreading nasty rumors about Momo. This makes Momo wonder why Okarun is avoiding her in the first place. Elsewhere, Aira walks through the school halls, thinking about how pretty she is and how everyone's eyes are on her. She resents Momo, revealing that she's the one who started the rumor, convinced that Momo is a demon. Aira claims to have even seen Momo's demon wings and believes that since she suddenly gained the ability to see such things, she must be someone special. As proof, she shows off a golden ball which has fell down from the sky, and believe it is a sign to telling her to save this world from the evil demons. In a flashback, we see how she found it when it bounced off the train during Momo and Okarun's last fight with Turbo Granny. Aira's friends, though skeptical, hand her a book and a cross, asking if she's truly certain about her plan. With confidence, Aira responds that she's been chosen. After all, she's just too beautiful, and it's her duty to save the world. However, her friends think she's been acting oddly lately, and what she's attempting now seems a bit strange to them as well. Suddenly, Aira mentioned noticing a mysterious figure in a red dress outside the window. She held up a cross to protect herself, but her friends couldn't see the figure. Aira believed it was Momo's familiar spying on them, so she signaled for her friends to duck down, warning that the familiar would spot them if they weren't careful. At that moment, two boys approached Aira and asked if she was okay. Aira quickly stood up, threw the cross to her friend, and explained that the weather was hot, and she was just feeling how cold the wall was. One of the boys teased her, calling her a ditz. Aira half-heartedly denied it, but admitted that people often say she's won. She then signaled to her friends that they would go ahead with their plan after school, urging them not to tell anyone. However, Turbo Granny observed everything from a distance. Later, we see Turbo Granny having lunch with Okarun and Momo. Okarun continued to avoid watching Momo and made an excuse, saying he was watching Turbo Granny instead. Momo asked why Turbo Granny was even at the school, and Turbo Granny fired back, asking why she should take orders from Momo. Momo responded that it was because Turbo Granny had lost to her, which angered Turbo Granny and made her want to confront Momo again. To stop the argument, Okarun suggested they talk about the strange woman Turbo Granny had mentioned earlier. Turbo Granny calmed down and explained that she had been searching for the golden balls while strolling around the school. Momo scoffed, calling Turbo Granny an idiot for believing the balls could appear there. But Okarun thought it was worth investigating. He speculated that a human might have picked one up. Turbo Granny explained that the ball resembled a beautiful golden ornament, so it wasn't surprising if someone had taken it. She also warned that if a human picked it up, it might awaken their spiritual powers, allowing them to see spirits. However, this would also mean the spirits could see them, putting them in danger of being attacked. Momo then asked who the woman was, and Turbo Granny replied that she didn't know her name, but would introduce her to them after school. Then we see Aira, wondering if she could defeat Momo using only the cross and the holy book. She wonders if she can take on both Momo and her familiar at once. She feels the woman in the red dress getting closer and subconsciously touches her pocket. After school, Aira confronts Momo and invites her to talk in an abandoned warehouse. Upon arriving, Aira's friends ambush Momo and tie her up. Aira then climbs onto Momo's back with the holy book and points the cross at Momo's face, treating her as though she's a demon. She asks her friends to hold Momo's legs so she can't move. Forced into a corner, Momo uses her powers to toss Aira's friends aside. Seeing this, Aira pulls the golden ball from her pocket and tries to use it against Momo, believing it to be a gift from the heavens to help her save the world. Momo then tells her that the ball is actually Okarun's family jewel and asks her to return it. But Aira refuses, still convinced that Momo is a demon. She places the ball against Momo's face. Meanwhile, Okarun arrives, and Momo warns him that Aira has his ball and that Aira is the strange woman Turbo Granny had mentioned. Okarun runs toward Momo and reassures her that Aira isn't the strange woman. Aira is the one being targeted by her. Just as Okarun reaches them, a strange woman appears. She grabs Aira and declares that she can finally have her, and she had been waiting all this time until Aira became able to see her. A flashback reveals a young Aira waving goodbye to her mother. In the present, the strange woman claims to be Aira's mother. Momo, who has been tied up, asks Okarun for help. Okarun transforms and charges at the strange woman, but Aira, shocked, asks if he's a demon too. Frustrated, Okarun declares that he hates the situation and just wants to go home. Yet he continues to fight the strange woman. However, he is quickly overpowered and devoured by her, despite Momo trying to pull him back with her magical hands. The strange woman insists that she was once Aira's mother, forcing Aira to call her Mommy, while explaining how much she loved her and how Aira used to call her that. Aira remains in shock while Momo shouts at the woman and demands she return Okarun. The strange woman, unfazed, responds that she's in the middle of an emotional reunion. Believing Momo and the strange woman to be enemies, Aira proposes that they team up to defeat the strange woman. Meanwhile, Turbo Granny arrives and checks with Momo's friend's phone, confirming that the strange woman is Acrobatic Silky. Holding her cross, Aira calls Silky a demon and vows to defeat her, claiming she is the chosen one destined to vanquish monsters like her. Enraged, Silky devours Aira. Seeing this, Momo pleads for Turbo Granny's help, but Turbo Granny refuses. Silky, angrily blaming Momo for tempting Aira into becoming a delinquent, and attacks Momo with her long hair. Momo then asks Turbo Granny to release her hands, but Turbo Granny tells her it's impossible. Momo explains that Silky just ate Okarun, and it would be dangerous for her to face the fight alone. However, Turbo Granny responds that they are the ones who took her power, and there's nothing she can do for them. Meanwhile, Silky grabs Momo with her hair and tightens it around her neck, demanding an apology, as she believes it's all Momo's fault. Momo refuses, and Silky, enraged, begins to swing Momo around with acrobatic, storm-like violence. She then hangs Momo and forces her to call her Mommy in exchange for forgiveness. But Momo still refuses. In her fury, Silky swallows Momo as well. Finally, Turbo Granny confronts Silky, pointing out that she devoured something unusual along with Momo. Silky realizes too late that Aira's cross was actually a lighter, which Momo used to set her hair on fire. Engulfed in flames, Silky spits out Momo, Okarun, and Aira. The episode ends with Momo and Okarun preparing for a final showdown against Silky, determined to end this once and for all. And that's a wrap on episode 6 of DanDaDan. If you loved this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, share the excitement, and subscribe to Red Moon Anime. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, so you're always first to catch our latest updates. Dive into our channel for even more epic anime content. We've got something for every fan. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next adventure.